What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. It's Friday, so hopefully the day goes quick for you so you can get out of work and go spend the weekend playing games or getting stuff done around the house. There was actually quite a bit of stuff that happened yesterday, some updates around some of the stories that we had yesterday that were kind of leading into announcements, which did happen, and we have to apparently talk about the Atari box as well, and we also have to get into apparently Twitch and Fortnite. Well, they've just gone mainstream at this point. So for today, guys, let's get started. So let's start with the updates from yesterday. Shadow of the Tomb Raider did get that teaser trailer, as we kind of talked about. We found it in the webpage as source code and everything. Same release date, September 14th, and we'll find out more about it at the end of April. But they did hit us with a teaser trailer. It's coming out on Xbox One, PS4, and PC all the same day. That's in September, so no timed exclusivity here like we've seen before with the Xbox getting the game for like a year and then it goes to the PS4. None of that, and again, it's also going to the PC the same day, and that'll be September 14th, but we'll find out, like I said, more in April, at the end of April, and then I'm sure there'll be some kind of E3 spot for it as well, leading into the fall in September. Then we also found out that Soul Calibur is indeed welcoming Geralt from the Witcher series into the ranks. He will be fighting alongside everyone else in the Soul Calibur series. They had a full trailer, they showed him off and everything, really some of his moves and the fighting, and yeah, he's a part of that Soul Calibur game now, Soul Calibur 6, and he's going to all platforms. So he's going to, of course, Xbox One, PS4, and PC. He's not going to be like an exclusive character or anything. He's just going to be a guest character for the entire game. He's been on every system anyway, so I guess it wouldn't really make a lot of sense to keep him exclusive to one. So now we can kind of think about, are there going to be any other guest characters, or was this really their big guest character they're going to have? I think I'd like to see one or two other guest characters being brought in, but we'll have to see. Just for now, we know Geralt is showing up. And to round out the day for release dates that were given, we also did get a release date for The Crew 2 that is coming out June 29th, so 2 weeks or so after E3, that will be live and you'll be able to download it and buy it. And that is, of course, from Ubisoft. That's kind of the big open world racing game. At least the original one was pretty much a racing game. Now they have boats and planes and all kinds of stuff in the second one that they showed off. And I'm sure there was at least a following for the original Crew, because they did say there was kind of a large customer base for that game, surprisingly, because I didn't really hear a lot of people talk about it. Although it was also on the 360 from what I remember, so it at least had some of the last generation along with it. But this one appears to be built from the ground up for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and it's not going to be built for any of the last generation stuff. So in this case, that will be coming out June 29th. So if you're a fan of the original one, I guess get ready for the second one. All right, so today let's get started with Bomberman. Of course, Bomberman is on the Switch. We all know Bomberman pretty well. Super Bomberman R actually launched with the system, and pretty much Nintendo fans had that and a few other games to pick from in the first month. And then, of course, built up to a pretty sizable library now, but that was one of the first games that you could get and play. A lot of us even played it at the Nintendo event at the time when I went. That was one of the big games that they were showing off, alongside Zelda, of course. That was the big one. Well, it looks like that was a one-year exclusivity deal with Konami, because it is now going to everything. In fact, they even are announcing exclusive characters that will be available for Steam, PS4, and Xbox One. So each one will have its own, in this case, bomber that you can run around and drop bombs with. They dropped the trailer to kind of talk about it, and then they showed off the characters you're going to see here. And, well, you can tell right away they have a Master Chief bomber, a Ratchet and Clank bomber, and a Peabody bomber. Now, these games will come out slightly about 24 hours apart, so the Xbox One and the PS4 version will come out June 14th, and then the Steam version will come out a day earlier, June 13th, but it is going to all systems, in this case, after the Switch now in June, so mid-June, right around the time, again, of E3. You'll see these pop up. Bomberman, good game. They've made some, in this case, improvements to it, and I'm sure it'll play really well on something like the PC, of course. It'll probably play well on the PS4 and Xbox One as well, but it's going to be interesting to see how that runs, high frame rates and everything on the PC. And again, it's just more people get to play Super Bomberman R now after the Switch user base has kind of gotten a chance to play it for about a year now. So it'll be cool to see that. Next up, let's talk about Kirby. That comes out today. So if you were thinking about picking it up, you can check out some of the reviews now. It's sitting right around a 73 on Metacritic, so it's definitely average reviews. Some places really liked it. Destructoid gave it like a 90, and IGN actually gave it an 8 or an 8.3. So it's pretty much right there. There are some places I saw one give it like a 40 on Metacritic, and the ones that really like it seem to really enjoy the visuals, something I kept talking about. I remember when I was playing it in my demo gameplay that I did, where I played a level, and I kept talking about how good the game looked. It does run at 30 frames per second, which is weird because a lot of the Nintendo games that were coming out, like Mario, for example, was running at 60, but still, it's a great looking game when you're playing it. The visuals are very appealing. Some of them said it was a little easy, like you're playing through it and it's not difficult. Again, the demo, I can see that. It wasn't the hardest game in the world at all. It was fairly easy. They also said that single player, kind of boring, but multiplayer is where that game really shines. But I will say, if you like Kirby and you like platforming and you like co-op multiplayer, you're in business. I would pick it up then. It seems worth it. I'm going to get it myself, check it out, and I'm sure we'll even do an impressions video and everything here probably in the coming days. Next up, we have to talk about the Atari box. I know it's been kind of a running joke since they had apparently their entire thing set up for Indiegogo. It was ready to roll, and then like at the 0 hour, they delay it indefinitely, and we haven't really heard much of it since. Well, at least until now. So GDC is coming up. That's the Game Developers Conference 2018. It's coming up in a few days. Starts, I believe, in March 19th it'll start, and then it'll go for a couple days after that. But the big thing here is Atari has said they will be there with a couple things. They're going to be there with an Atari box, some VR stuff, and some original IPs. This was in their press release. Atari has all new previews and first looks in store for this year's show, from new original IP games to innovative revivals and retakes of some of their most loved classic arcade titles. Atari will also unveil their first virtual reality and first Nintendo Switch titles, plus, for the first time at an event, see a prototype of the Atari Box project, Atari's first major hardware platform in over 20 years. So it sounds like Atari is just showing up to this show, the GDC Game Developers Conference, with just a ton of stuff. I guess their prototype will be there, which is a little confusing as to why they're not crowdsourcing it yet. I guess they're still working out the kinks with it or something. I mean, they're showing off the game developers there, so maybe they're trying to pull some interested parties in to develop for this thing specifically. Good luck on that, I'd say, unless you're basically just letting them keep all of the money from developing on it or something. I don't know. That'd be a hard pull for me. Or maybe you're showing them the hardware, again, to get them interested in maybe porting their stuff from, I don't know, the PS4, the Xbox One, or the Switch over to the Atari box. The other interesting thing here is they're going to show their first Switch titles off, so we will, I guess, have Switch announcements in this coming week or so from GDC. We're going to get our first Switch announcements, I guess, from Atari, and virtual reality games as well, new IPs. What is going on with Atari here? Are they really about to just showcase a ton of stuff and break back into the gaming world? Probably not. Honestly, they're probably going to show their Atari box. I'll be curious how much info they actually show. That's going to tell us a lot about how close this thing is to being ready. And then what Switch titles are going to show? Are they just going to show like a compilation of older classic Atari arcade games? Some people will probably be into that, but I wouldn't mind seeing some newer stuff, or maybe an original IP that makes its way to the Switch. We'll have to see. They specifically, in this case, named Switch titles, virtual reality stuff. So we'll have to see what they have, but I wouldn't have high expectations for this Atari box or Atari in general. I guess keep them low and hopefully be surprised. Next up, let's talk about Twitch and Fortnite, because the other night, well, the internet exploded. Because a very prominent streamer at this point for Fortnite, who has really grown fast, like very fast. He's very good at Fortnite. I will say that. I watched him play. He's exceptionally good at Fortnite, and that, of course, is Ninja. So if you're into the Fortnite scene, maybe you watch stuff on Twitch, even if you don't play Fortnite, you probably know who this is, because he's broken the record for most subs and everything, and he has done that very, very quickly. Well, the other night, he was playing, and he just happened to start playing with Drake, someone that a lot of people know. A lot of people know Drake, of course, rapper, songwriter, musician, artist. Everyone knows Drake for the most part. He's in so many GIFs online, obviously, right, where he's pointing and he's not, and in this case, he decided to play Fortnite with Ninja. So you already have a very prominent Twitch streamer who obviously gets a very large audience, and then you mix in the fact that, in this case, a very popular, very well-known musician jumps in and then tweets it out to 36 million of his followers, and you end up with what was probably the largest Twitch stream I've ever seen, with over 600,000 concurrent viewers at once. I mean, seriously, if you like watched that stream, you probably realized as well that you were kind of watching history, because what was happening was Twitch was becoming mainstream. Like, it had this moment where you could tell that Twitch was becoming mainstream. It was all over Twitter. Things were trending everywhere. So many media outlets were just talking about it, typing up articles. And for a minute there, it felt like all of the internet was looking at Twitch. It was absolutely insane. Not only that, you have other people who jump in as well. Juju Smith jumps in. A wide receiver from the Steelers makes an appearance. It was just absolutely crazy. If Travis Scott, another rapper musician, jumps in, and it kept going. It started at like 300,000, I think, when I caught it, and it kept going to over 600. I think I saw it top like 640 or 650,000 viewers concurrently, and everyone's watching Fortnite. Like Fortnite, the game that took the idea from PUBG, who I'm sure took the idea from somewhere else, but PUBG made it popular. Fortnite comes in with Epic, who obviously understands the Unreal Engine very well because they made it, and they develop a game that runs better, and a lot of people say looks better, controls better, and they are the ones with the more popular Battle Royale game, despite not really making it popular from the start. This is a classic case where somebody comes up with an idea, and then another person comes along, takes the idea and develops it into a better, in this case, product. So here we are now. Fortnite, I think, has pretty much become mainstream. A lot of people play it. Now we have, in this case, famous people with a lot of pull, a lot of influence playing it. Records broken all over Twitch now. And now we're to the point where apparently Epic is going to do a 50 pro gamer and then a 50, in this case, celebrity pro-am, where they'll join together. So you have one celebrity and then one pro gamer, and they're going to join together and do Fortnite duos. So that could be interesting. And we kind of had something like that, except it wasn't quite pro gamers. It's called Celebrity Deathmatch. It was on MTV. If you're older, you know what I'm talking about. It looked a lot different back then. But still, what an interesting thing to see just pop up at night. And then, like I said, you see Twitch, just massive audience. And it went mainstream there for a while. This is a big step if you're a Twitch streamer, if you're a fan of watching Twitch. This was a big deal because Twitch was thrown in the limelight out of nowhere. And finally, in our last bit of news, let's talk about an interesting game announcement that was made for the Switch. It is an FMV game called The Bunker. It is out April 9th. It's very interesting, though, because we, of course, saw Night Trap, and Nintendo appeared to have passed on that despite, in this case, third-party developers, publishers trying their best to get it on there. Didn't work out, obviously, so it looks like the first FMV game is going to be The Bunker. Now, if you've seen these type of games, you don't do a lot to control the people. Usually you make decisions and things play out. This one in particular, without trying to ruin the story or anything like that, is all shot video. None of it is like CGI or anything. Seriously, they have like actual actors in there, actual writers, develop this, I guess you'd call FMV game, I guess. But if people really like story and that's all, this would be right up their alley. Now, it is already on Steam, and they've given it mostly positive reviews. It's somewhere in the 7s and 8s, I guess, if you enjoy the story, but you might get kind of bored from not actually running around and doing stuff. It might not be your game. It's just interesting to see an FMV game like this that obviously has adult themes to it go to the Switch, but Night Trap just completely misses out. I think Night Trap should have been the first FMV game, but I guess what can you do? It's The Bunker showing up. I think you can probably already see it on the eShop. That's coming April 9th. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, guys. It really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave a bunch of comments down below about everything we talked about today. Maybe you were one of the people watching that historical Twitch stream with Drake and Ninja just running through Fortnite together. A lot of people had a lot of fun with that stream, and I think it really opens the door for Twitch, and in this case, celebrities and pro gamers to be playing together. At this point, Epic jumped on it instantly and said, let's do a pro-am at E3. Let's get celebrities, let's get pro gamers, and let's have a whole tournament that could, honestly, that could be a TV show. People would watch that. If Twitch did that and actually had like a time slot and everything, they would probably get consistently large viewership. And I do think Twitch has something here. I think they'll run with it. So we're going to see if this really blossoms and turns into something, but that is easily a competitor to cable TV right there. And that's where it's going to get fascinating, is seeing if something like streaming games can really go up against primetime television. It's going to be a very interesting thing going forward. Also, let me know what you think about things like The Crew 2 getting a release date, Tomb Raider, in this case, Geralt from the Witcher series going in. There's a lot of stuff happening. The Switch's first FMV game. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff and more. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys back here Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for more Newswave.